I'm here. I'm Kevin. I'm here with your boy Dave Miller reporting live from Chicago the night of the taping. This is the most aggressive we've gotten recording in a timely fashion recently.
It feels really good. It just took a pandemic for us to be ready to go on the same day.
Yes,
after the show.
Exactly. Took one of the worst things that we've ever experienced as a country, as people, and then guess what? The upside, we caught up on our Million Little Things podcast. This is a Million Little podcast. As I said, I'm Kevin. That's Dave, and we just this episode was called Mothers and Daughters. And Dave, do you know, is the finale next week?
Yeah, so Kevin, I am very disappointed. Here's the thing. A few weeks ago, it might have been even the last show that me, you, and Jamie did live.
Yeah.
I think you asked me at the very end, do I know how many episodes were left? And I told you I didn't, but I just saw, on Wikipedia, they were booked through the end of March. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have a real run on new episodes. Like, growing up, you're familiar with how, there were, you had your sweeps period, and there were just
right.
pockets of weeks where shows would have reruns and you'd have your finale in May. Well, the game has changed. We knew that probably wouldn't be a case, but it looks like next week is the season finale. That was confirmed because on the bottom of the screen tonight, I'm sure a lot of viewers saw, it said go to Facebook to see a trailer for next week's season finale. So that's why we didn't get the trailer at the end of tonight's episode.
I was going to say, yeah, we usually do.
Yeah, so, and I noticed on Grey's Anatomy, too, they did the full outro song, which I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but it comes on before the show. So that was the first time I saw the Grey's outro song in a long time. And now my question is, I tried to do a little bit of research before the show and came up inconclusive. I watch shows like Chicago PD and stuff. I know Chicago PD because of the coronavirus and all the Chicago franchises stopped filming. I don't know if A Million Little Things stopped filming because of this. That's a question that I'm sure a listener can tweet at us or something.
We're at
Yeah.
We're at A Million Podcast on Twitter, at A Million Little Podcast on Instagram, though we haven't had that updated in a little bit, but on Twitter we're keeping up. I do believe A Million Little Things recorded enough. They recorded through the end of the season before this really hit. I'm not 99% sure because I just saw DJ Nash tweeting about it, our boy Chance Hurstfield tweeting about it and stuff. So I think they're all set. I guess that's one upside to the production schedule skewing earlier this year and having the finale done. Because if it's airing next week, it had to be done weeks ago, really, before they went into edit and all that stuff. So they should be good. Yeah, but this episode was called Mothers and Daughters. Dave, where do you want to start with this? What feels right to lead off? I guess Eddie was doing the voiceover. We always talk about who's doing the voiceover at the top.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone really had a major role.
Oh man, I gotta say, Dave. So in the mystery we have right now, the mystery of Alex drowning at the lake house, the flashback I found to be hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was corny.
There's a guy who we went to school with in middle school named Matt Capter, who I don't know if you remember that kid, but. I don't even know what to call it, but the thing that Eddie's... The Baja? There you go.
Dylan McKay on 90210 wore a Baja. My brother Tony wore a Baja. I had one, but I just, in middle school, I had baby fat, and I just felt weird wearing it. Yeah, my brother called it a Baja. I think it's called a Baja.
It was a very middle school and kind of early mid-high school thing for us, which means we're talking mid-90s up to maybe late 90s. But this flashback, is it supposed to go back that far? Because these characters...
No, the year 2000, so that's year 2000's current.
Baja's. I guess maybe some people still had it, but it struck me as an extremely 90s looking flashback, which I don't give a shit. I just enjoyed that, but. The flashback I thought was great. They very casually were like, yeah, we did coke. I don't know. This is a different kind of lake house hang than I know about. I know people do coke, but I feel like lake houses are more of a weed and beer, maybe booze situation than like do coke and just hang out by a fire. That doesn't seem like coke behavior to me.
No, that it doesn't seem to be. So they really up the ante there. And then the other thing is, we can talk about this now or later, but like at the end when the father of Alex is there, Lake House I think is an escape to or maybe that's a permanent residence now for them. I don't know, but I found that to be weird.
Seems permanent residence for that guy. Yeah, so I guess this is this is a mystery. I was watching the episode with Jamie, and Jamie was saying that she is a couple episodes behind, but she was saying like this season the show is a very different show from what it was in the first season with the Barbara Morgans and the mysteries and that stuff. And then it turned into a show where it's just people living their lives and the little dramas there within. And then now it's like taking a swerve back towards like hardcore mystery where it's just like, Eddie, you had an affair and your best friend jumped off a building. And then you were involved in another death and you totally forgot about it? Like, what kind of a life are you living?
Well, and that's the thing. Now, we talked about this last podcast, suspension of disbelief. Any TV show you have to. But that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, no, let's talk about it since we're on the subject.
Yeah,
so,
let's Eddie it.
Eddie sees Alex's dad, and Alex's dad says, you need to leave.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally believable, but if Alex's dad has these strong feelings, he knows that Eddie had something to do with it. How does Eddie, like in the days after the accident, how is he not privy to this information?
How's he not privy to it? How's he not implicated in some like actual legal way?
Yeah.
And to me, it seems like, okay, his sister says, oh, I know you were doing coke and stuff, so I brought you, I got you out of there, put you to bed, and your clothes were wet. And I didn't think anything of it, really. It's like someone should have counted heads, really. But I bet it's going to turn out that Eddie tried to save her in some way or something, which is why his clothes are wet. But but I guess I don't really know. But yeah, how could he not know? But then the dad apparently thinks something did happen. But then the dad would have had to have been aware of what was happening while Eddie was blacked out, I guess. Unless he was just like, you're part of the group, and I hate that,
Yeah, for sure. And then, I know Eddie goes back to the lake house for answers. I mean, you're not going to get answers 20 years later. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, we've all seen the first 48. You got to get it in the first 48 hours. Otherwise, otherwise you're fucked, basically. So, yeah, there's no point in going back to he just goes back. And it's funny because he goes back for answers, but they don't knock on the door to talk to the dad. They literally just walk up to where they were and just hope something comes back to them.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, just like, oh, I'll feel it. I'll feel the mystery out. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess Alex fell in or something. I know his sister says Eddie was the last person to see her alive, which seems like, I don't know how we can be sure of that either, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's allegedly, obviously, all of this stuff.
Right. And Jamie said as she was watching this, she's like, hey, I know things are going well. And Eddie kind of called out his sister at some point. He's like, we were in a really good place. And then you showed up and brought this back into my life. And Jamie was saying basically that, hey, here's a reason to drink. Do you remember that death you had a part in? Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that. So they're in the car and Eddie basically blames Lindsay, saying lies lead to drinking and we need to know the truth. I mean, I will say when Lindsay 2 weeks ago, brought it up kind of out of the blue when she was leaving, I thought the timing was weird. I'm not blaming her. I mean, obviously she has that right on it. She has that right to do it.
Sure, but it's a bit of a drama queen move to say, hey, I'm sober. It's so good to see you again. Loved meeting your kid. By the way, we were involved in a murder or something. It's like, what are we doing here? Let's. But she said she's never been able to stop thinking about it. So I guess this is her sort of confronting it too. But you got to know, lady, you are a problem now. Like, even if it's justified.
Absolutely. And so that, with next week being the season finale, obviously the vow renewal, that's just going to be I mean, Eddie's not going to be in the right frame of mind, obviously, and it sucks because Catherine and him were in such a good place.
Dave, this is a quick vow renewal, too. I mean, I'm saying this as someone who was engaged for 2 years after dating for 9 years, so I'd like to take my time a little bit. But you just decided to renew your vows. Give it a minute. You don't have to do it this weekend. I mean, I guess they're anxious to recommit to each other and, in some way. So, okay, but just logistically from a party planning perspective, I feel like, give yourselves time to mail out an invite, or at least email out an invite to the people who you want at your vow renewal. But it's like, oh, damn, you're doing it tomorrow? That is quick. Also, they're doing... So, is it on a Sunday? Because they do the baby shower the day before, and you're baby showering on a Saturday almost always, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm trying to think, my sisters and my sister-in-laws, we're kind of like a Sunday family, but now as adults, all my female friends have Saturday. So I think maybe there's a culture shift, or maybe my family just believes in doing all things Sunday like that. But so maybe it's Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, Saturday or Sunday makes sense. But the point being, then that means if they're doing a Sunday one, it's like the vow renewal wouldn't be on a Monday. And this is getting tied up in minutia, but it's weird timing, I guess. So it's also funny that Eddie is basically like, we're renewing our vows tomorrow, so I have to go to the lake and solve a death mystery in a day.
It's like Nancy Drew.
You've got like 6 hours to solve a mystery you got no clues on, dude.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, and then speaking of baby shower, did you want to stick with that and do like kind of Gina Rome and Gina's mom? Gina's mom, Shelley, who, always good with Gina. Just, I felt like she was good with the whole baby thing. Out of nowhere, just hates Eve, which is,
It's a pretty weird position to take on the person who's quite literally providing you your grandchild. You get I mean, treat her like a queen, for Christ's sake. It's weird to have bitterness towards the woman who's bringing this child into your life that you're very excited about. And I guess maybe she just thinks that, she's, if she's hanging around, she's going to take that baby back. That's what Jamie kept saying. She's like, oh, man, you're not going to get this baby. But... yeah, I thought, Shelley, by the way, who's the coolest Shelley you've ever met? It's mostly a rhetorical question. If you put a Shelley in your show, she's not going to be the coolest character. I'm not saying that doesn't mean there's not cool Shelleys out there. Of course there are. But when you name a character Shelley in your show, she's going to be acting the fool. She's acting like this.
And she does look like a Shelley, too, actually.
She pulls off the Shelley. She really does. I also thought, and this, I hope this doesn't come off as offensive or anything, but so a baby shower is basically to, like, kickstart you, get you the baby essentials. I feel like if I was the adoptive mother, I would feel weird having a baby shower for me when I'm not pregnant. Because it's like someone else is bringing me the baby. You will be that baby's mother, for sure. But when you are pregnant at a baby shower, you've already been doing some shit. You know what I mean? Being pregnant is difficult. It's like, yeah, Jesus, let's have a party for me. I've been going through it. Pregnancy's hell, But if you're an adoptive parent having the full-on baby shower, I mean, of course, have it. That's great. It's fun. But I feel like if I was the mom, I would feel a little weird because, like, I actually haven't done anything yet. I just signed papers. Like, that's all that's happened, and we're having a party for me.
Yeah, I feel like in this case, do something unique where, like, maybe you have the baby and, like, everyone could see the baby for the first time, and that's the de facto shower.
That's what Jamie said. Jamie basically said, it would be great, but I would just want to have the baby at the shower. And I'm like, yeah, I think that does make more sense to me. Obviously, it doesn't work for the plot point here. But yeah, so they're having the baby shower. Shelley's very excited about it, right?
And I love that. Yeah, like the soiling the diaper with the chocolate bars and stuff, and like picking the date. Yeah, I like that part of Gina's mom. It was just so weird to I
like the gambling part. I like the picking the due date with the weight as the tiebreaker. That's a good move. That's a good game. The poopy diapers, let's get that out of here. No need for that. Also, she said, she was like, I think Gina said, I hid them under the jackets and she found them. You hid a bunch of fake poopy diapers under jackets? What kind of, what's going on over here?
That's great.
Then, then they're talking about Eve showing up. And at first she wasn't going to, but then she does, right?
Yes, and every time I hear Eve, and I'm sorry, every time I see Eve, I just think, who's that girl? I just do.
You got to. I think that's good. Oh, also, in terms of things that I do like from Shelley, the pun names for the drinks, great.
Oh, yeah.
Cosmopolitan, whatever. Momgarita, or whatever they said. Yeah.
There were good points. Just don't hate Eve.
Just don't be a total bitch to the person giving you this child. So that's Gina stuff. Oh, and then at the end of... Oh, go ahead. You had a face there.
Go. I was going to get into the Rome stuff, but no, go ahead.
Okay, just at the end, this sort of involves Rome too, but at the end, Eve hangs out, and Eve is like weirdly wise for her age to like mature and wise, which, whatever, that's fine. But at the end, she hands the sonogram or whatever to Rome and Gina, says, I don't want to know the gender, but you do, so here, you open it when I'm not here. And she basically says, I have to leave. I can't be involved here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Eve, basically, that's her severing the relationship. And I don't know how this goes in real life. My assumption is because, obviously, they're really not supposed to have a relationship, Eve has the baby in the hospital, and then the agency takes it, and then I think that's how it goes. So, yeah, she wants to sever the relationship, and, I mean, I get it. I don't know. Adoption is just totally nuts. Like, you have to be strong in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, you're giving away a kid, so, like, I see both sides. Giving away a kid, not a big fan of, but, like, I get it. You're doing it what's best.
Oh, I think it's great to do, and it just must be so incredibly difficult. I can't imagine, and it must be so incredibly difficult to do it the right way, like this too. So like Eve's a fucking hero to this point, and then so Rome and Gina are too. Like basically because they're finding a home and providing a loving home to this kid. So that's friggin' wonderful. Adoption is just way too difficult, I think, from what I've heard from friends who've gone through the process. Like, it's an insanely difficult and expensive process to do. And then, you cannot put a number or a price on the emotional cost of being the person who carries the baby and then, passes it on because you think the baby will have a better home somewhere else. That's got to be crazy tough. And I think Eve does a good job showing that here.
Absolutely, and I think it shows her strength even more by actually coming to the shower. And we saw the toll it took by the end.
Yeah, insane. Take me to Rome. I mean, not now. It's a terrible time to go to Rome, but you know what I mean. Let's go to Rome, the character.
Yeah, so I love Rome, and I completely buy him freaking out about being a dad, whether it's getting married or having a kid or buying a house or something. I would definitely have cold feet. I just think Rome needs to chill a little bit, overreacting to when the dad and the son at the car dealership are fighting.
Oh yeah,
I just think Rome needs to settle down a little bit.
Oh, it was Rome needs to settle down. Also, that fucking kid needs to settle down. That kid's like 28 years old, and he's like, "I hate you, Dad." It's like, what a fucking old baby that kid is. I feel that was an insane. It was a very funny scene where it's a straight up adult sized kid just being a pouty baby at his dad while they buy a car together, and then Rome's like, "Wait a second, you're telling me a kid can get mad at their parent? No cars for me." But he's showing up to buy basically the new family car, and he gets cold feet there. A little bit because of that, but he was probably going to get cold feet anyway, I guess. But yeah,
for sure. And now, hopefully, I don't think DJ Nash will make the adoption of the baby too complicated, but we don't know. I mean, this show loves complexities. Hopefully things go pretty smoothly.
Oh yeah, and even if it is complicated, I would buy it at this point. They've laid the seeds, and that is a thing that happens. Is the birth parent can pull it back? I think, depending on. I mean, I don't know the details legally, but I know that has happened relatively. It's a relatively common thing. Also, Rome at the end when he comes back to the bridal shower and he's talking about how he didn't get the car. He's worried about maybe I'm going to be a bad dad. He's saying to Gina, and sure, in the video I look like a good parent, but maybe we sold Eve on a version of me that isn't real, and That makes sense, because the way the adoption system's set up, you have to pitch yourself in a way that's not authentic, too. You have to. It's fucking showbiz.
And on camera, which probably didn't exist 5 years ago.
That's true too, for sure.
I thought it was cute them kind of fighting, joking Gary and Rome about being Eddie's best man when they were at the dealership.
Yeah,
we always have a good 3-man scene sort of every episode.
Yeah, they have a good goofy camaraderie together when they all get to be in the same scene. Totally. Yeah. Dave, have you best manned?
I was best man at my brother Matt's wedding.
Okay. I was going to say, you've groomsmened a shit ton, I feel like.
Yes. I was groomsman for Tony and Mark, all my brothers. Hold on. Was I best man for Maddie's? I think. Bottom line, I was groomsman.
Yeah.
My oldest brother passed away in 2002. Mm-hmm. And so... But I was in the wedding party for 3 of my other brothers, and I was like best man with one of my brothers too.
That makes sense. You were in my wedding party. You were a groomsman at my wedding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who do you think? I mean, they're probably going to do the thing they did in Friends, where they're co.
Yeah. I'm a default co guy.
Yeah. Sure. I like a co. A co's good. Cool. Anything else on Rome there?
No, I think I'm cleaned out on my notebook on Rome.
All right, cool. Who do you want to go to next?
I mean, should we just sort of dive into the Gary, Hot Mom, Darcy, Maggie stuff?
Sure, and then close with, Delilah. I guess we could do... yeah.
Or we can flip. Let's flip. Let's do the Delilah Miles. Let's do Delilah Miles and the daughter.
That's easy and quick. Basically, Delilah in this episode, Delilah fucks. Delilah is embarrassed about Miles, her fuck buddy, a little bit. Now, maybe they've only hooked up once or a day's worth. Who knows? But they hooked up, and then they're at a coffee shop hanging out now, and he keeps referencing it. Yeah, you tell me about Delilah and Miles, Dave.
Yeah, so we first see them on a coffee date post-hike. They went hiking that day.
Have you ever gone on a hike date? I mean, you're a Chicago guy, so I feel like that's not so much a Chicago thing.
Yeah, Kevin, you meet people over the years. You meet people over the years and oh yeah, we should go camping or hiking. I like the outdoors. I like being outside. I like nature, but I don't want to live outdoors for hours at a time.
Right, you're out for hours at a time. Yeah, you're outside in Chicago. That's where you're outside. You're outside in Wrigleyville.
Exactly, yeah. So I love Mother Nature. Well, I don't like Mother Nature now, although this isn't a Mother Nature thing.
No, but it's not. We're not really familiarizing ourselves with Mother Nature much right now.
For sure. So, Cindy, the school mom, sees them, and Delilah, says it's my trainer because she's uncomfortable labeling what they have, and that leads into the Sophie stuff. So they're at Miles and Delilah are doing their thing. He obviously likes her.
Yeah.
And she's
why wouldn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. And she's trying to downplay it. So they're at the wedding or the baby shower, and Gina's mom, overhears Maggie and overhears Delilah and Maggie talking about Miles, and she's like, "Oh, tell me about the new guy." And that's when Sophie hears, and obviously Sophie and Delilah, things are good. Now Sophie hears about this random guy, so her mom is screwing another guy again.
I mean, everyone else needs to be fucking cool about this, basically. This is a good example of everyone being playful, and then I think this happens in real life, where they are just not being considerate about the situation. Literally, last week, we had a 1-year anniversary of her husband's suicide dinner. And then the next episode, everyone else is like, so you like fucking that young guy? How'd that go? It's like, her daughter is right there. By the way, her daughter, who, I don't know, 2 months ago found out that her mom cheated with virtually her uncle, and the result was her new sister. You guys gotta be cool. You can't be talking about... talking in front of her kids about like, oh yeah, you fucking you bang that hot dude from the bar, right? Everyone else is being very uncool about this, and Sophie's response is right. Also, again, this is a thing where it's a TV show, yada yada, whatever. I'll give it some leeway. This lady, her husband killed himself a year ago. She had a baby, what, 7 months ago, 6 months ago, and already she's out there fucking again. I mean, as someone, Dave, as you know, I was raised by a single mom, not dating that much. You know what I mean? Like, especially with a newborn, Christ, completely unrealistic. But, you know, I still, when I see Delilah out there getting it, I'm happy for her.
Yeah, because, you know, she generally had a good season in our eyes in terms of like, character development and stuff, and
the actress has been great the last few episodes too. I thought she was great last episode. I think she's good now too.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I'm convinced they're just gonna kill off Danny, or just like write him out.
I know, because I think he's getting too many other jobs.
Yeah,
I think Danny's just working, you know, so he don't need this shit. Because
they just send him off to boarding school. He's probably off the show.
Danny's going to get into Juilliard based off of his performance in Grease, and he's or he'll go,
or he'll go live with his the boyfriend who moved away to Connecticut.
Yeah, him and Elliot are gonna have a civil union at the age of 14, and then he'll go to the LaGuardia School of the Performing Arts in New York. But Danny has been excluded for too long. Maybe it's a mutual protest. Jamie is gone from this show. From our show because Danny's not here. Maybe Danny left the show because Jamie's not here to mark out about it. But we do miss Danny for sure. But that's basically all there is with Delilah. And then at the end of the episode, he calls. Sophie picks up the phone. They have a quick talk about it, and then they're basically like girlfriends. You know.
Yeah, they do reconcile before the end of the episode, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else with Delilah and Sophie there?
No, that takes care of that.
All right. Let's knock out Catherine, and then we can end with the Gary, Maggie, Darcy situation. Catherine, we see her seamstressing her own dress for the vow renewal, right?
Yeah.
She says, so she bumps into Darcy. I guess this crosses over into Gary's storyline, where she and Darcy are friends because their kids go to the same school. Theo and Darcy's kid are frenemies, I guess, as we hear. And then they're trying to figure out how to tell Catherine about the situation. And when Catherine finally figures out that Darcy and Gary are a thing, that they're trying to be a thing, Catherine says, we make fun of Gary, because he deserves it. And then Jamie and I are both like, why? What is it with Gary? He's recently unemployed, but Gary had a fucking job and he's been everyone's best friend. Like, why is he the guy to make fun of? Eddie he was in a band that never actually toured. He's an alcoholic who cheated. Like, if we're going to make fun of anybody, it's Eddie, you would think, but everyone's like, Gary, what a goof up. It's like, he's not actually, if you put it on paper.
It's just like you mentioned a few minutes ago about like knowing your place and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's writing, and then she's working on writing her own vows, which she feels pressure about because Eddie's a songwriter. I get that. My wife, as you know, Jamie, is an incredible writer, but she did demand at our wedding that she open and I close.
That's great.
Jamie was like, I'm going first. You're going last. That's how it's going to be.
Because now that I think about it, I guess Is it tradition that the woman goes last? I guess. I never even thought of it.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't really know. I don't know,
I don't know.
No, I don't know anything about weddings really, even though I've had one. But, but I just know Jamie was like, you're going last with the vows. That's it. I was like, all right, cool, fine. All right. Any other Catherine thoughts from this episode? I guess she's setting up her law firm and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, she's just, doing too many things like we talked about. They should probably not have this vow renewal that fast.
Let's slow it down. Slow your roll.
Other than that, there's like a thing with flowers and her mom. She has to talk in her native language or whatever.
Oh,
but
I mean, just a really funny moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about that.
Well, Dave, Gary is your guy. You lead me into Gary talk.
Yeah, no, he's just the best. So Gary, we see him talking on the phone to hot mom Darcy.
Yes, self-proclaimed hot mom.
Yeah, just like being a nice guy. He's turned a corner. He is, in a sense, kind of a hopeless romantic. He, in so many, even in this episode, he made a joke to, I don't know, I don't think it was Rome or Eddie. He just made a joke about how, it was to Eddie. He's like, no, I didn't sleep with her yet. I actually like her.
That's how much I like her. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we see this guy going above and beyond for Darcy. Darcy is helping Catherine with her office, like putting up lights and stuff and just getting it organized. So Gary is also hanging out with Darcy and helping out.
I felt like Gary was maybe moving too fast.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument.
I feel like I think Gary is into her, but I feel like he's leaning into being a romantic and leaning into how much he's into her because he's trying to get over Maggie and he's trying to he's putting her on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, 100%. Obviously 100%, yeah. And that's okay. So Gary basically doesn't have a middle ground. Yeah. He goes hard. Love it.
I mean, I get that for sure. You and I both get that.
And then so Darcy has a moment where she has like a PTSD situation. Yes. Gary accidentally locks him in a closet of some sort, a boiler room or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically. And it's very claustrophobic, and she freaks out. And Gary, through this whole run, is doing a lot of his casual, I talk like this, and I say something that I'm saying it in the tone of a joke, even though nothing I say is actually funny. It's a lot of that stuff, where it's a lot of fake flirty joking that he's doing.
Yeah, a lot of that. And that's good. You are right. He's moving a little fast. And then the problem lies eventually okay, so this is good for Gary. They're supposed to go out to get food, but she's like, let's order in at your place. So things are going to happen. And you just know something bad's going to happen.
Dave is leaning back. I wish you could see his physicality. Yeah.
Yeah, so Maggie takes a cab to Gary's and sees Gary making out with Darcy. Presumably she was going to go visit him, probably tell him about England, maybe hoping he says to stay.
Oh, yeah. Well, and this is after we saw a Maggie montage to Don't Be Shy by Cat Stevens was the music. And it's a Maggie montage. We see old Maggie with a wig and her saying, I love you, Gary Mendez. Oof, that's tough. That's
and thanks for answering that. Yeah, so I'm glad I did. I wrote down Cat Stevens' record because in the beginning of the episode when she's packing the show, and I'm like, okay, that means something. Just can't remember.
Right.
Yeah. So we flash back to the Gary thing. So it's Maggie sees Gary and Darcy, and I mean, who knows? Is she just gonna go off to England without? I mean, she'll tell him, I guess, but that's gonna be wrapped up next week.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think. But getting a montage like that, it wasn't the full this person's leaving the show montage necessarily, but it was approaching it. You get a little montage, you get seeing her in the wig and I love you, Gary Mendez, and walking out. I feel like depending on when the show comes back, what opportunities these actors get, there's a possibility we're seeing the end of Maggie here.
No, that's a good point. I didn't even fully grasp that. And yeah, there is, knock on wood, going to be a third season. I don't. Time's going by so fast. I remember being on the podcast and being like, "Yes, DJ Nash confirmed there's going to be a second season."
Oh yeah, but
and we got excited. But I don't think there's been no talk about a third.
Sure. Does America exist anymore? Do I exist? I mean, we don't know that a third season exists because we don't know if television exists. I'm a stand-up comic, Dave. I'm a pretty successful one. Stand-up comedy doesn't exist anymore. I just lost tens of thousands of dollars in money because of gigs being canceled because of fucking rampant disease. So it's like we don't know if shows come back. Like we don't know any of this stuff. So this is a weird case where it does seem like the network was bringing the show back for a third season, but we don't know if that's going to happen or not, or if it does happen when.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have shows like, I always use this example. Like one of my favorite shows was Everwood, and I think it lasted 4 years. It ended when it should. Some shows just. You get mad that it ended, but like some shows, that's just the natural arc, and but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, I love a good 3 to 5 season arc that like makes sense and closes well. That's great. That's that's how a lot of things should go. Dave, are you? Well, I guess before I ask that, that's more of a spin-off question. But do you have anything else? Any other gear? Anything else here that we have? I just had Darcy played Nemo. They said in the Disney on Ice version of Finding Nemo. Everyone had trouble. Maggie and Darcy had a weird thing that I think was supposed to be like, oh, aren't they quirky and fun together for a second, but actually just made no sense, and actually that's not how people talk when they were being like, what's that sci-fi movie with the thing and the thing? And then it turns out, and it's what I haven't seen this movie, but it's what I thought it was, Shape of Water, and then they bring it up later and are like, this weird sci-fi movie. I think it literally won Best Picture. Like, it was like a big deal.
Oh, yeah, and to not... Well, yeah, I was surprised. Well, obviously, so Darcy brings it up to Gary. She's like, oh, yeah, what's the name of that movie? Which I guess that does happen in real life.
Oh, for sure, that happens.
Yeah.
But it was funny that they were like, this weird sci-fi movie, and it's like, I don't think that's how it's thought of. And it legit won Best Picture. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if it was some, like, if this film noir, I understand.
Yeah, they're talking about it like it's a cult thing or something. But yeah, Dave, anything else on your notepad for things from this app?
No, I have no, I just wrote down no trailer for next week, but that's their way of getting you to the Facebook page. So will listeners go to the A Million Little Things Facebook page to watch that? Definitely.
Good tip.
Of course, follow us on our socials. But yeah, next week is the season finale, and
or A Million Podcast on Twitter. Excuse me. Go ahead, Dave.
It stings that it's in March, so we have hopefully we can do like off-season podcasts and talk to these actors about how they dealt with coronavirus.
Yeah, I guess friggin' so. I was just realizing now after a couple weeks of doing this, I'm like, it's funny now that Jamie's gone. From the show, we're just two dudes talking about a million little things every week. What a world! Dave? Are you? Oh, and I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Theo does a little voiceover on the phone in this episode, and he hates making his bed. I'm going to count that as Theo being back on his bullshit. Dave, are you binging any other show in your coronavirus-related quarantine right now?
Currently, no.
Okay.
I'll need suggestions. So if the social community that listens to the show helps me out, I will say I have a backlog of DVR stuff. So if you're asking, am I binging on like a Netflix? No. But am I binging on network shows? Sort of, yes. So
Dave's a network guy.
Okay, yeah. So I have like a bunch of Nancy Drew CW episodes I have to watch. The Good Doctor supporting ABC. I'm way behind on that.
I love you saying all this. This is great. We have totally different viewing patterns except for this podcast that we do together.
It's so weird. Like I watch all the Brooklyn Nine-Nines.
I watch that. That's a great show.
Yeah, so I like my sitcoms and stuff, and even like I think Bless This Mess is great. I think Dax Shepard and last name Bell, first name whatever, that female comedian. Like, yeah, I think they're great together. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but in terms of like the sort of Netflix, like you know this, Kevin. What are those shows that used to be on like History Channel on AMC on Sunday night, like The Walking Dead? I'm not a fan of like those, Sunday night, gotta be in front of HBO.
Prestige stuff, yeah. Earlier this year, here's the thing, as we've talked about this too, as a stand-up comic professionally, I'm living the quarantine lifestyle during the day in general. So I binged Sopranos. I'd seen episodes here and there, but I binged Sopranos earlier this year. It's a weird thing to say, but it's like, that show's fucking good. Believe the hype. I mean, it's kind of like now saying, hey, you know what's good is Hamilton. It is good. It's like everyone said this already, so it's not. The Wire's good. It really is. These are great. But yeah, I guess HBO wise, I have the least interesting things to recommend, which would be Sopranos. I watched earlier this year, and I was so fucking into. So much funnier than I thought it was going to be, too. So, yeah, if you haven't seen that, it's a great time to get on that. Or The Wire. And The Wire, I know everyone says it, but you got to watch. It doesn't catch you right away. You got to go 4 full episodes, and then it starts, and then it'll never let go. Yeah. Any other tips on how to live a quarantine life right, Dave? Anything else you're doing right now you want to share with the people before we sign off?
I will say this. If you've ever been trying to eat healthy, get into shape, read more, do something positive, now is your only chance. And I mean that like half-heartedly. Like, I've been one of those people that like, I want to eat, but I like fruits and vegetables. I do, but I also love...
Don't believe the rumors.
But I also love crushing like a foot-long sub after a night on the town,
Yeah.
You don't have that opportunity now. If it doesn't have anything to, even if it's not a diet, if you want to exercise more, if you want to read more, if you want to learn a new hobby, now is the time to do it, because trust me, when the quarantine lifts and stuff, and knock on wood, hopefully that day comes, it's tough to like start a new habit.
Sure.
It's tough to start a healthy habit.
Oh, if I don't come out of this jacked out of my mind more than I've ever been, I'm going to be furious. I've been trying to do 2 a days lately, and yeah, we're trying to kill it.
And like Orange Theory and all these places are doing free online classes now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think we're just realizing that, and as we're podcasting remotely from New York to Chicago, as we have been this whole time we've been doing this, there's a lot of shows. I mean, shows are jobs for me, but a lot of jobs you really don't have to be in an office for. Hopefully, that's something we're realizing too. But thank you for listening, everybody, to this episode, the penultimate episode of this season, I guess. We'll be back next week for the season finale with myself, your boy Dave Miller, New York and Chicago coming together in quarantine, bringing you the last episode of A Million Little Podcast. Anything else, Dave, before we go?
That's all, guys. Be safe, be healthy, enjoy the show. Or thanks for listening, and tune in next week, and yeah, we'll have a good one for the season finale.
Hell yeah. A Million Little Bye.